Welcome to this episode of the Be Ready Utah PrepCast. I'm Wade Mathews, the manager of Be Ready Utah here at the Division of Emergency Management. Joining me today are Bryan, Stinson, and James Ray, outreach specialists on emergency preparedness. And we're here talking in our third part of a three-part series on water storage. Today's topic is treatment. We're going to talk about water treatment today. And Bryan, you're going to start us off with the process, a four-part process for treating water.
Really what you want to do is you always want to start with the cleanest water you can find. The next thing you do is it's a pre-filtering process. It saves the life of your filter. And the next thing you want to do is the filter. And the final thing is a purification process. So if you do those four things, or any kind of water that you're unsure of, if it's safe for drinking, you'll be good to go.
So a question that I've heard is, do I need to treat the water that I get right out of my tap? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's funny. The EPA actually holds your tap water to a higher standard than the FDA holds bottled water for. So no, you don't have to treat tap water. Now, that being said, if you have like well water or something like that, you may need to treat that before you put it into long-term storage. But tap water, it's safe to go, ready to go.
Good question. So pre-filtering, that first step after finding the cleanest source of water, pre-filtering basically involves you want to run that water through some clean cloth, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Exactly. You want to get all the chunks, the sediments, those large particles out, because that's what will really clog up your filter in a hurry and you won't be able to use your filter. So run it through some cloth. Let it maybe sit there for a little bit. Let the sediments settle down to the top, float to the top, settle to the bottom, float to the top. I got to get my directions correct. And then you can scoop the stuff off the top, and then whatever's left, you can pour it through some cloth, cotton, cheesecloth, something like that. Again, the purpose of the pre-filter is to get the large chunks out.
So we're talking about actually with our source container through some clean cloth into a clean container you're catching that water into. And then from there we go into the next step.
The next step is the filter. There's all sorts of different kinds of filters. The purpose of this is to get out your sediments, your chemicals. A great addition to your disaster supply kit is like just a little straw filter like this. It's a great lifesaver. You want to check on the quality of that and make sure that it's high enough for what you expect your filter be able to do. A larger filter that's maybe a little bigger for your disaster supply kit, if it's something they work at home or in the car. Something like this. It's more of a pump style filter that pulls the water through. This will last a lot longer. This particular brand actually has activated carbon in it as well that will absorb chemicals out of the water, as well as just that physical barrier of blocking the contaminants from passing through. So there's all sorts of different kind of filters. There's all sorts of different brands. What I suggest with a filter, this is something you want to spend probably a good amount of money on. It doesn't have to be insanely expensive. Go to your local emergency preparedness dealer or outdoors store. Talk to them about what your needs are for your disaster supply kit or at home or something like that. They'll be able to help you to find the filter that's best for your needs.
Have one in your disaster supply kit. Have one where you're storing your water storage in the basement or wherever that location is. It's good to have a few of those around. And the final step is purification. And I'm going to start this off by saying the recommendation, there's lots of different ways of doing it. But I guess what I'm trying to say is our preferred recommendation, boiling it will kill anything. A rumbling boil for 3 minutes at our altitude will kill anything in there that could be harmful to us. Obviously, there are other ways of doing this purification, but if that's all you've got, you can start a fire, you can heat up that water, let it cool before you drink it. You've got to have that little thing so nobody burns their tongue.
Right.
But a good, reliable way to purify water. But there are other ways.
Yeah. Well, in purification, the whole idea is after you're done filtering, so even your best filters are going to let things like viruses still pass through them. That's why it's important to have that final step of purification that kills anything that's left. The boiling, like Wade said, at 3 minutes here at Utah's average elevation kills anything that's left. Boiling may not always be an option. Maybe if you're walking somewhere, Then you may want to come up with like a chemical kind of purification. You just drop a tablet in the water for that final step. There's also the same kind of stuff with liquid. This particular brand is chlorine dioxide. There's other ones that we use iodine tablets. That's what I used in Boy Scouts, kind of a traditional kind of thing. Turns the water kind of brown and nasty, but
then of course there's the chlorine bleach that everyone thinks about.
Exactly.
But you have to be careful about that, not over treating it and potentially poisoning yourself. Also, that bleach has a shelf life, and it doesn't have the same potency. It's about a year-long shelf life, and so 6 months into that, it's not as strong as it was when you first bought it. Again, that's why we recommend boiling. There's a lot of these great ideas out there, but the surefire, reliable method, boiling that water.
Exactly.
I think we're out of time. Thanks for watching us on the Be Ready Utah PrepCast. Again, these are on our YouTube webpage, our YouTube site, Be Ready Utah, Facebook page, and thanks for watching.
And don't forget to ask for next month. We're going to be talking about food storage. So ask your questions about food storage, and we'll talk to you about that next month.
And look for #BRU PrepCast.
All right.
Thank you.